Hey everyone, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, and I want to welcome you to episode 77 of Limb Lengthening Live, where the patients get to interview the guests. And today we are joined by a return guest to the show. We have Michael, the unilateral cosmetic limb lengthening patient. Welcome back, Michael. How are you doing?
Hey everybody, what's up?
It's great to have you back, man. It's been literally over 35 episodes ago. That's crazy. Literally, I think it was last April, so almost a year ago that you were on here. And your lengthening journey is really interesting because you actually did it unilaterally. And for those of you who don't know, when you do a stature lengthening bilateral legs, unilaterally means that you lengthen one leg and then you do the other side. But Michael actually did quadrilateral unilateral lengthening, so he's very unique. And if you want to go back and watch his first episode 32, you can do that. But we're going to pick up for since last time. So Michael, go ahead and fill us in on what happened since you were last here.
Right. So short recap, I had my first surgery in October 21, which was supposed to be the left leg, also the entire lateral left leg, femur and tibia. But unfortunately, there was a supply shortcoming for the femur nail. So I was only able to do the tibia nail in October 21. 4 weeks later, in a second surgery, we did the femur nail. So it required 2 surgeries to do the whole lateral left side. And I believe we spoke right in April, 6 months after the second surgery, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I hadn't done the other side yet.
That's right. Yeah. So you did your other side.
Yeah, I wasn't even consolidated at that point, so with the left leg. So, and that is because I did have a bit of trouble consolidating with my left tibia. It took a little bit longer than planned, which is why after 6 months, my surgeon, Dr. Köhne, from Munich, he decided to do a bone graft surgery. So in May 2022, last year, we did the bone graft surgery, which is a fairly uncomplicated procedure. I believe it was a bone graft was taken from the hip and then added to the tibia gap, basically. And then that was all good. It worked out fine. 4 weeks later, I was already allowed to weight bear on that left leg, so it healed perfectly. And after 2 months after that surgery, the final surgery, the fourth surgery, was conducted, where the entire lateral right side was done. Wow. So that was my last surgery last July. Wow. And now I'm about 8 months post second surgery, so to speak, second leg, and I've completed my quadrilateral lengthening now, and the consolidation as well. So I'm basically back to normal now.
Now that's crazy. Well, first of all, congratulations. That's huge to go through an ordeal like that. But I know it was kind of scary to have like a bone that wasn't fully healing, but the tibias are known to do that. They're slower to heal than the femurs. Would you say that it was a delayed union, meaning like it was just healing slow, or was it complete non-union when you had that?
I wouldn't consider it a non-union. My surgeon also assured me that it was quite normal and it probably would have healed anyway, but we wanted to accelerate the process since my journey in particular has been very long anyway, so we just wanted to like accelerate the whole thing, and it was covered by the insurance, which you're like what you have when you do the surgery here. So
that's awesome.
It didn't cost me any extra, so it was a no-brainer basically.
Gotcha. Now let's tell everybody about how much length you achieved on your first, left side, and then what you got on your during your second surgery, like how much you lengthened, like to finish up and match up.
So before the surgery, I was 167 centimeters, which is between 5'5" and 5'6", and I decided to do 9 centimeters in total. I believe I did 3.5 centimeters in the tibias and 5.5 in the femurs.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha. All
And
right, that's awesome. Congrats.
equal length on both sides.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, you don't wanna end up with a
Obviously.
discrepancy. Very cool. Now, when you did the, 2nd surgery, you did that all in one surgery, right? It was like the femur and the tibia, correct?
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
This time we didn't have to split it up 4 weeks in between, but we could do it all in one surgery.
Okay, gotcha. And, now when you're lengthening, because last time it was split up by 4 weeks, you started the femur or the tibia. Was it the tibia first and then the femur, right?
Right.
Yeah, so but this time you're doing both at the same time, and I talked to a lot of quadrilateral patients. Now you're lengthening the tissues from both limb segments, the femur and the tibia. What was that like, if you can compare and contrast that to your kind of like the first segment, like when you did the femur or the tibia and then the femur?
It was a lot tougher for sure.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you split it up, you definitely have a lot more leverage, time leverage, um, because it just doesn't tighten up as fast as when you do both femur and tibia at the same time. So after about like 3 or 4 weeks of lengthening, it got really tight in the lower in the hamstrings
Mhm.
basically,
Mhm.
and the hip. That got really tight. But since I was doing a conservative amount and didn't go over 3 centimeters on the tibia and 5.5 centimeters on the femur, respectively, it wasn't too bad. I can imagine if you go over those lengths, it can
Mhm.
be quite the challenge for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you were conservative in the amount of length that you got. And I tell that to a lot of patients who do it quadrilaterally. I'm like, hey, look, you want to stay a little bit more conservative. You should. And you did. Excellent, man. Now, did you have any other type of complications like nerve irritation? Because when you're kind of distracting both limbs at the same time, the nerve is getting tugged on from two different anchor points, right? Like two different osteotomy sites. So what was it like for you nerve wise? Did you have any nerve pain?
There were some instances
Okay.
where I had a little tingling, in
Ah,
the calf,
mhm,
on the calf side, but those were like singular instances, and it didn't occur very often. But that was towards the end of the lengthening procedure, and after I stopped lengthening, I didn't have any nerve irritations or any nerve pain at all.
nice.
I was very lucky in that regard, and I was
Mhm,
also very um, careful that I didn't lengthen too fast. And because I knew that my consolidation, especially in the tibias, was a little bit slower, I could definitely stretch out the lengthening rate towards the end.
mhm,
There were like a few days where I didn't lengthen, then I lengthened again on the third day, and so on, because I um, I was not in danger of pre-consolidating.
right.
So I was also lengthening very slowly, especially towards the end, which
What
helped.
was your rate of distraction? What was the speed?
Oh, I think the normal rate is at the beginning of the femur is 1 millimeter, and then you gradually go down to I think 0.75 after 3 weeks or so.
Mhm.
And that's basically a normal rate. But after 2 months, when you're almost at the goal, you basically just lengthen every second day or so.
Okay. So you kinda
But you
staggered the
can only you
pace.
can only do that when you have like slower consolidation. So I wouldn't risk it if I were you. But um, yeah, that
That's very
definitely
cool.
helps for any nerve related issues. Just
Absolutely.
keep it
And
on.
what was your bone healing like? Was it, in the tibia for the 2nd surgery, was it any better than the first? You didn't need another bone graft, did you?
It was much better, and the reason it was much better is because I was able to weight bear earlier, because I was now I had equal lengths on both legs now.
Mhm.
On the other leg wasn't able to weight bear at all because I had that huge discrepancy for
Right.
over 7 or 8 months,
Mhm.
which made walking on that leg very hard, because as you do the first leg in the unilateral procedure, you basically weight bear on your healthy shorter leg for the entire
Mhm.
time, basically.
Right.
And which leads to the other leg not being used at all, which is of course detrimental for consolidation. As you know, probably the moving the leg and weight bearing just a little bit stimulates consolidation, and that was not happening at all on the first leg because of the huge discrepancy I had. And
Right.
the second round was a lot faster because I was able to um, weight bear much sooner
I
on the
see.
second leg.
Gotcha, because they were done simultaneously at the same time, versus, like, spread out a little bit. That's
I
incredible,
was
man.
I was closing the gap basically,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
exactly,
definitely
the
helped.
discrepancy gap, a 9 centimeter discrepancy, I can't even imagine. Oh, man, mine was half that. That's crazy. Well, that's awesome, Michael. I'm super happy for you. So let's talk a little bit about, like, now that you were done the lengthening, when did you finish your lengthening of your second, leg side?
I was done at the end of September, so I
Okay.
was basically lengthening for 2.5 months.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. And then what was it like during consolidation? Because you have one good side. Were you able to you said weight bear sooner, but was it like certain percentages? Did you still have to use like a crutch on one side, a cane or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I was on crutches for the whole time
Hmm.
up until January, probably until my
Okay.
doctor finally told me I could full weight bear. But when I mean I was weight bearing earlier, I mean I was just putting my foot on the ground, which I
Okay.
wasn't able to beforehand with the other leg
Mm.
because of
Right.
that huge discrepancy. And even that just helps,
Yeah.
with consolidation and just um, stimulating muscle growth and stuff,
Hmm. Hmm.
and just keeping those muscles, yeah, retained basically. So
Yeah.
I had extreme muscle loss as well on the other side because the leg wasn't used for such a long time.
Long time. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, man. So let's talk about some of the results you're experiencing right now, like in terms of some of the benefits. And then I'll have one final question before we go into the live Q&A. So you're done lengthening now. You're pretty much 3 months or two months after you're done full, or you were released for full weight bearing. What is life like? You're pretty much walking around, no crutches, no assistance, 9 centimeters taller. That's incredible. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been interesting because the whole process was stretched out for such a long time. You gradually kind of got used to it
Yeah.
in a very slow manner. Um, but it definitely gave me the peace of mind that that I was trying to get out of it, that which I hoped out of it, because I was 5'5" beforehand, and which is significantly under the which is significantly below the average height of young Caucasian Germans, which and all my friends are like 6 foot at least.
Wow.
So that was
Yeah.
quite the height difference between 5'5" and 6 foot. I think a lot of people can relate, um, who are watching that. When you have that kind of height dysphoria, I think that's what it's called these days. It confronts you every day
Hmm.
and really doesn't leave you, because it's just a part of every single interaction, every single confrontation, especially when you meet like new people or are using public transportation. It kind of irritates you, and it's kind of like a little alarm bell, a little paranoia, which just never really goes away and is always in the back of your mind. And when doing this procedure, you kind of just get rid of that.
Yeah.
And although I'm still not the tallest. I'm 5'9" now. I am super satisfied because I just for several reasons. Because first of all, I got out of that super short range, which really makes you stick out like a sore thumb sometimes. You're significantly taller than most females, which definitely helps with your confidence. And the matter of fact that you got the surgery and took active control of this major problem in your life definitely um, also gives you kind of a boost, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Hmm.
And so in that matter, it really, really helped. and I think we went over this last time as well. It mainly affects like three kind of parts of your life, right? I think we touched on this last time, like your social group, right? Your dating life and your work life as well, and it basically affects every aspect of your life. And when you get this fixed, you're at peace of mind, and you also perform better, I think, in certain ways. I think Height Journey also touched on this in the roundtable as well, and I could really really agree with that as well, because yeah, you don't you just have more capacities for other tasks and for everyday life, which capacity that is freed up basically by fixing this major problem you had. Yeah. So yeah, I can definitely recommend it to people who are severely hindered by their height, and whose lives are affected by it to a very large extent. I can definitely recommend it, even if it takes as long as it was in my case, which is like, it took ridiculously long in my case, but still, after all that hassle, after all the surgeries, I would definitely say it was worth it, for
Yeah.
sure. No regrets on that matter.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear that. Now, I want to go back. I want to talk about proportions, because I know that's what a lot of people are going to be wondering. You lengthened 9 centimeters, but you did it quadrilaterally, so your interlimb ratio is probably looking really awesome. But how does it look in terms of like your overall body, like your arm length, your torso length, and just your overall body stature?
I think it definitely enhanced my 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 physical appearance, for sure, because before the surgery, I always had a very uh, I always had very broad shoulders
Mhm.
and a broad back, which always looked very weird on me,
Mhm.
because I was so short. And I think like lengthening and stretching out that body definitely enhanced that part, and makes my shoulder ratio, or what's it called, shoulder width ratio,
Sure. Mhm.
definitely look more proportional to my height.
Nice.
And the arms, I guess it doesn't really matter, I would say.
No.
I have like an average arm span, like not freakishly long or anything,
Mhm.
but it's just something you don't really pay attention to, and nobody takes notice of.
Right.
So I wouldn't even give that any thought, to be
Gotcha.
honest.
Now let's talk about like your 2 months post full weight bearing. Are you starting to get back to things like, I hate to say it, but the gym, or like working out, like, or anything like that, or like any type of physical activity? Or are you still just normalizing your walk and doing everyday tasks?
Yeah, once my doctor gave me the go, basically the weight bearing go, a couple of weeks ago, I was back at the gym right away, doing my thing. But I definitely uh, exaggerated it a little bit, because if you go back in 100% too soon, you'll get a reaction,
Mm.
because I think I developed a slight tendinitis, like in
Mhm.
my ankle, because I was just really going really hard on the bicycle machine, because I love to cycle, and I went really hard, doing like 2 hours a day and stuff. So I think that was a little too much. And so this is a shout out to everybody who just like completed the consolidation, uh, and wants to go back to their physical activities. Ease in slowly. I can just recommend everybody. But apart from that, I'm walking completely normal now.
Mhm.
Nobody can tell. It's
Wow.
amazing. And I'm easing in back to the gym, I would say,
Okay.
with the squats and with the deadlifts, with a very low weight. But the matter of fact that you can go back to the gym and do all these things which you did before the surgery really, yeah, really gives you the feeling of being a normal human being again, after such a long time of just abstaining from every single activity. Yeah. That's a
Absolutely.
really great feeling.
That's definitely got to be a great feeling. Now, you mentioned squats and deadlifts, like the knee bend. You have a really balanced interlimb ratio. Your tibias and your femurs are well balanced now. Do you notice, does it feel similar to how it did before because your limbs are pretty much proportional, or do you notice that there's a little skewedness? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm still very tight in my hips, which
Okay.
is the only thing I really notice, but obviously that will get better with time. In
Mhm.
terms of proportion, they have the same. My femur to tibia ratio is the same as it was before the surgery, and that's probably the reason why I don't really um, feel a difference in
Right.
that matter
That's
when
cool.
doing squats or something.
Yeah.
It would probably be a lot more different if you just did the femurs, right?
Absolutely would. Very, very cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, so I guess I don't really have any. Oh, yeah. I guess the other question is, the last question before we go into the live Q&A is, would you do it again unilaterally for quadrilateral lengthening? Would you do it the same way that you did it, or would you say, hey, look, that was too long, I would do it bilaterally?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I've been asked that a lot because it took a really long time in my case, and obviously it probably took um, 3 or 4 months longer because of that little um, consolidation issue and that additional surgery. Um, yeah, it took. I think I've been on it from October 21 till basically January. Yeah, a year and like 2 or 3 months was I was knocked out. And it took a really long time, but I would do it again because there weren't really any other options
Mhm.
apart. There like the main weight bearing nail is Stride, which has been off the market for a long time. I guess there are 1 or 2 weight bearing nails at the moment which you can do, which are an option, which I might recommend to somebody who doesn't want to do unilateral lengthening with precise. Um, so there's that option. I know a lot of people are doing that right now.
Mhm.
However, unilateral lengthening is definitely a very safe option. So for somebody who has a lot of time and wants to go the safer, slower route, I can definitely recommend that,
Mhm.
especially since you are still able to be mobile from the first day, since you always have a safe, a strong, healthy leg to weight
Mhm.
bear on. Um, you are not completely isolated from social activities, even though you have that discrepancy. But yeah, you can still kind of function normally if you have that discrepancy shoe, which has that huge heel, which looks really stupid. But like, I mean, if you're not embarrassed of wearing that, you can definitely, um, yeah.
Yeah, no,
But,
definitely. I know
okay,
for a fact that I was more
yeah,
embarrassed wearing that thing.
yeah, me
Um,
too. I never wore that thing, to be honest. I just like absolutely abstained from socializing for a very long time because of that shoe.
right.
Mine was 9 centimeters big, like the
Yeah,
heel.
I couldn't imagine
It
wearing
looked ridiculous. It looked absolutely ridiculous, and I never wore it because of it.
that's
But
like
yeah, again, apart from that, it's just a very safe procedure. I guess you could also do bilateral with precise, but um, I guess you're even more isolated and even more immobilized
mhm,
because of that, because you can't weight bear. So you're basically stuck in a wheelchair for a long time. Um, So good consolidation would be very important in that case.
right,
So
absolutely,
if you
yeah,
know you have very good consolidation, that might be an option. You could do bilateral, precise. Um, yeah.
yeah,
If
no,
not, maybe the unilateral option is for you. Yeah.
and I'm glad you brought that up because I know that there are, more patients, considering this unilateral option while the lack of a weight bearing nail is out there. I mean, there, like you said, there are some out there, but people want the magnetically controlled one. But I do know a patient who did it unilaterally, and he, like you said, he was doing his social activities and everything like that. So um, very cool, man. So Michael, we're gonna go ahead and go into the live chat, answer some questions here, and then yeah, we'll wrap it up. Let's see here. So let me rewind. Is there anything else that you want to say before going into the live chat?
Uh, maybe later. I'm good for now.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, let's see here. What's up, DJ Cyborg? You're getting surgery scheduled for June. Awesome, man. Well, keep us posted. Maybe we'll have you on the show. All right. All right. Let's see here. Can somebody give us a recap? We'll rewind that. Just trying to go through here. They're talking amongst themselves. Okay. Any questions for Michael? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Alama has a question for you. So that's little German there. He says, Michael, I'm about to have the surgery done in May, also by Dr. Kune, although only femurs. Okay, so he's just greeting you.
Okay, good for you. You're in good hands. Don't worry about it. Dr. Kune is a very professional, very reliable surgeon, so I wouldn't worry about the surgery one bit if I were you.
Okay. Now he did say here that he's Dr. Kune said that he can do his rehab by himself since he's going for only femurs and unilaterally. Is that possible?
Absolutely. I would say for like the first few weeks, you're probably not. You don't have to go to physiotherapy, like external physiotherapy, if that is too much of a hassle, and you can do more exercises if you know them. You can do those at home, I would say. And if you're only doing femurs, I guess that is definitely doable. Yes.
Okay, very cool. For this guy, we actually he just answered that. Basically, why you would go with precise, doing it both legs or one leg at a time.
He add what's the most I can add on tibia in one surgery.
Yeah, but I think it would depend on how much time you give in between.
Is he asking for the upper limit?
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, then yeah, you can go ahead and say that then.
Well, in general, my surgeon doesn't recommend to go over the 5 centimeter threshold on tibias.
I agree. I think that's like the safe point. All right, here we go. Every time you walk after the procedure, don't you get stiffness at certain times?
I mainly get stiffness in the morning when you've been very like in one position for the entire night. But during the day, it's not that bad. But you definitely have to stick to your exercises and your physiotherapy. You really have to stay diligent. Do those stretching exercises every day, even if it's just like a few minutes. And that stiffness won't be as present anymore. And I would say like about a year or so from surgery, you should be fine. You should be basically back to normal in regards to the stiffness.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially doing it conservative like that. Michael rocks from Den. Okay, so here is a question. Oh, I didn't see the external fixator. So external fixator scars are more obvious than internal nails. Yeah. So here we go. This is the one I meant to click on. Hunter, hey, Michael, are you fully open about the surgery with your friends and family? If so, how do they react? If not, what will be your explanation for the height gain?
Yeah, good question. I did open up about the surgery to my closest friends, 2 or 3, and I didn't tell a lot of people outside of that very close knit group yet, because for the longest time I haven't been socializing, and to be honest, I told my friends that I was living abroad for a year. It was kind of crazy because I had to make up some kind of excuse because I didn't want to tell everybody, like a group of 10 or 20 people, about the surgery. That would have been kind of overkill, especially before the surgery. You're in such a tunnel and you just don't have the capacity to like tell other people and about the surgery. You just need the energy and the capacity to focus on the surgery and recover. But now I'm close. Now I'm slowly opening up that group of people, and but as a matter of fact, I've met up with 2 or 3 other old friends so far, who I've met the last time 2 years ago. Both are about 6 feet. They didn't notice at all.
What?
They didn't notice, and I'm not sure why, but I think if you're still like significantly shorter than your friends, if you have tall friends, then they don't take notice as much. I think they get used to the new height very, very fast, and I think it also proves the point that that the height is more of an issue for yourself. Yeah, that you're
Yeah.
basically the main person that really takes
That's
notice.
that's awesome though. Like I think that's gonna make a lot more people who are coming from like the I guess like
Yeah,
a shorter height feel more comfortable because they're like less people notice and they won't be able to tell, especially if they're just doing three, on the femur or something like that. Um, Here's the next question from Pepper Snakes. He's asking, this is actually kind of relating to that. He said, was it hard to adjust to looking down at people instead of them looking down at you? I like that.
well, I'm still 5'9", so I'm not looking down at too many people at the moment, but a lot more than beforehand for sure. Because beforehand, virtually, I was the shortest guy in every room, and there weren't really a lot of people who were my size or shorter than me. So that definitely has been a big adjustment, and definitely enhances your confidence and your feeling as a male adult for sure. And it's definitely a cool feeling. Yeah.
That's
But
awesome,
I
man.
would say more so, it's more feeling taller than most girls is definitely a better feeling than feeling taller than men, I would say,
Mhm.
because that was also like a thing which always affected me a lot,
Mhm.
was being shorter than most girls. Um, yeah, so I'm really glad that's changed.
At least that, right? Like you can still have the 6 foot friends. He doesn't care about that.
But
Um,
even if they're like 6 foot or 6'2" or whatever, and they're still towering over you, it still doesn't affect you
yeah.
as much as it did beforehand, because you're at peace with your height, and
Mhm.
you know that um, you're yeah, you took active control about the issue and improved upon it,
Right.
and
And they're
you
not
you
gonna
learn
judge you for it, they don't know, so, because they didn't
and
ask
you
you about
learn
it.
how to be satisfied with your height, kind of, because it's
Yeah.
such a big improvement.
That's awesome, man. It's so good to hear the satisfaction out of your voice that you're happy that you got this done and you boosted your height, you're content, your height dysphoria is gone. I mean, that's the point of this whole thing is getting that done so you can focus on normal life and enjoy life.
Yeah. I
Incredible.
think I also got like a lot of questions regarding dating,
Yeah.
which is,
Yeah.
I think, just a like an unspoken kind of issue among, especially among short people,
Mhm.
because especially nowadays with dating apps and stuff, a lot of the times when you're matching someone or you're chatting with a girl, you have no idea how tall the person is, right? And so technically, the person it could be your size or taller than you or shorter than you, just don't know. So it's, if
Mhm.
you're a short person and you're going on a blind date with somebody you've
Yeah.
only chatted with on the internet before, it's always a gamble, because um, you have no idea if the person is taller than you or not.
Yeah.
And that feeling, I think a lot of people can connect to that, was always um, it was always a weird feeling going on a date. And these days, it's just, I haven't been on a lot of dates, to be fair, but I've been on a few now, and
Mhm.
that feeling of additional nervousness in regards to that matter, that's just gone,
Wow.
and it just gives you a lot more headspace to feel good about yourself, and just to enjoy the date as it comes.
Yeah, like I said, you can just focus on the task at hand, like the date or whatever activity it is, and not so much like worried about your height insecurity. I mean, that's awesome, man. That's so cool to hear. Very cool. Okay, this one's saying my surgery is set for July, so he's getting surgery. Oh, but I have a leg length discrepancy. Yeah, so that's awesome. So you're doing it unilaterally too, but for a different reason. Yeah, they'll take good care of you there. So, yeah. So he just mentioned this TR God about his reaction to his new height. Has anybody like kind of said you look taller?
Um, Not yet, but
Not
I
yet.
haven't met up with too many people, too many of my existing friends. I've just like, I'm slowly kind of easing in back to my old friend group right
Mhm,
now. Um,
mhm.
because I've only been back to normal life since a few weeks now, so I'm still in the process of really easing in. But I've met with two or three people um, from that group, and they didn't notice yet. Maybe they thought maybe they thought it to themselves, but that's always the thing. They they take notice that something is different, and maybe they even notice that you're taller or something, but they just can't make a logical explanation, because still a lot of people don't even know the surgery exists to them. So maybe they just accept it, and yeah, just get used to it very quickly, I guess.
Yeah. They're like, man, this guy looks different, but he definitely didn't get taller, or did he?
Just grow a beard.
Right, right, grow a
Or
beard.
get a
Yeah,
haircut or
get your
something, and
haircut. Yeah, wear
they won't
different
notice.
clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, mess with them a little bit. Okay, so this one is saying, element. He's saying, when will you be able to run and jump as before the surgery? Do you feel like your pace of walking is picking up a little bit?
Yeah, it's been it's still pretty slow, to be fair, but it's definitely increasing. The main thing is muscle mass, which is still severely lacking. That's why it's very important to really pick up on the physio exercises and go to the gym as soon as possible. If possible, do it while lengthening or while recovering. Just not just in order not to lose the muscle mass, especially in the quadriceps,
Yeah.
and in the calf muscles, especially, which are required for walking and jumping. I tried jumping like 2 weeks ago, and it just didn't work. It just didn't like. I wasn't able to like take off into the air because there was just no muscle to
Right.
support.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have a video that I'm putting out either tomorrow or the next day. It's on full recovery, and there's actually another video I'll be putting out. The father of a son who got back to wrestling, and this guy, I'm gonna show a clip of this young guy who got back to wrestling for high school, and his recovery is probably one of the best I've ever seen. He got quadrilateral lengthening done, full 5 inches, excruciating pain, but he's back to wrestling full time. So I'll be showing that as well. So it's really cool to see quadrilateral patients getting back full recovery.
How old was he?
He was very young. He got it done when he was 14. He's now going on 17 or 16 and a half. But now he went to his prom. He's about to get, into 3 big, colleges. He's living life to the fullest, and he doesn't feel like he's even at 100% yet, because he's getting his nails out tomorrow. But it's when you guys see the video, you're like, this guy went through quadrilateral lengthening, and then you'll start to believe that it can happen. Now, he is very young. Like I said, young people heal really, really well. But if you're still sub 40, you can heal well with good, like you said, recovery, physio, stretching, nutrition. It can all happen. So
definitely pick a diligent and reliable surgeon. That's probably the most important thing. I saw that video of yours with the guy who had complications.
Yeah,
that was a rough one. That was a rough watch,
it
because
definitely was.
it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
It is. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I had the feeling maybe I'm totally off here, but he didn't really do the research. Because he was talking about that he didn't really know a lot about the LON nail, and that he thought that it was a very safe procedure, and that it was so simple that there wasn't a lot that could have gone wrong. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not quite right. If you do a little bit of research, you definitely figure out that the LON method is a little bit riskier than the internal one. And it was just tough to listen. I just wish that guy all the best. I hope he has a speedy recovery with that one tough issue he had, I think.
No, you're right.
The Aquinas issue, I think.
Yeah, it was Aquinas, and I think like some sort of other fracture he had in there. But I think it goes to like a lot of the clinics that are marketing heavily, like they're pulling in people with things that they want to see, versus things like we're doing, like an authentic sit down talk here about your experience. Like, I have no idea what's going on with you. You're telling everybody, but they can showcase the good, but they never showcase the bad. And unfortunately, there are probably more bads than are shown. So
they definitely advertise the long distractions as well, like on their social media.
Because they know that's what's going to pull people in, right? Because I mean, obviously it's what people want out of this. They want height, but if you're just pulling in the good and like what people want, then you're gonna get a lot of people. But let's hope you can turn a lot of those people into good results. which one was I on here? So yeah, we're gonna have Michael on more, so I'm sure he'll be running and jumping the next time we have him on.
I'll try to provide like a video next time, like as
That'd be
soon as I
great.
get back
Yeah,
to
you can like, kind of
activities.
like blur your face or something, or I can do that. Okay, here's a good one, Michael. I know we'll do like 5 more minutes or so, but he's asking, did you use any equipment, for your rehab for your calf stretching, like a slant board or a calf night splint?
Yeah, I used a slant board
Okay.
to stretch out my calves.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, I didn't really. Yeah, I had like a rubber band with like a strap that you could put your
Mm-hmm.
foot in and like kind of like pull and straighten out your leg and stretch
Mm-hmm.
it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Kind of like a stretching strap, pretty much.
exactly. I didn't have those boots, those calf boots, which you
The
wear at
night
night.
splint.
Those would have
Yeah,
been helpful, I think, really to stretch it out. Additionally, it's probably uh, takes a while to get used to them, but I bet those are pretty helpful as well.
absolutely. Especially now that you did do a relatively conservative amount. 3.5 is pretty. I mean, you would definitely get some Aquinas probably, but with enough physio, you'd probably be okay. Now, if you're going closer to the 5, you'll definitely need one of those. Okay, so DJ Cyborg is asking. Oh yeah, now the questions are piling in, Michael. So here they go. What was your nutrition like during lengthening and consolidation? Is there anything that you learned along the way that you wish you could share with us, or your past self when it comes to nutrition?
Yeah, just try to get like enough good calories as possible. Fortunately, I live with my mom, so that definitely helped. She
She
used to
cooked
be
for
able
you.
to
That's
provide
awesome.
a good kitchen.
Right.
Just a lot of you like when you're doing 3 or 4 inches, you can or even 2 inches, you can take a lot of calories without gaining weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be doing some nutrition segments with our nutritionists for the new service we launched eventually.
Oh.
Blood clots, can you reduce them with? Oh, that's just a general surgery question. So we'll skip that one for now. Just a couple more. Oh, here we go. Hunter has another question for you. Have you already gotten new pants for your longer legs?
Yes, I have. That's also like a very proud moment in the life of a limb lengthening veteran. The first time you go shopping for new clothes,
Yeah.
that's always a good feeling because you can basically throw out all your old pants out the window now in the trash
Yeah.
because they're too short. Yeah, yes, I
That's
have.
very cool. All right, couple more questions here. Will he be able to do martial arts after surgery? Well, we'll get him back on to see what he can do later. When will you have the nails removed?
The aim is to remove the nails end of the year.
Okay, of this year. Okay. Um, does stem cells help with recovery? We're gonna skip that one. So this is stretching. So these are just okay. So last question we're gonna take here, and then we'll call it. Is sleeping difficult for you? So what was your yeah? Let's talk a little bit about sleeping real quick. So during lengthening, you did one leg at a time. Was that easier to kind of like sleep because you had one leg that was kind of like not lengthening at the time? And then how's sleeping now?
Well, obviously during the lengthening, especially after the surgery, you can't sleep on that one side where
Hmm.
you have the operated leg on, but you still have like 2 other options. You can sleep on the other side or you can sleep on your back. So your sleep is not really affected by it. And in general, I had very good sleep during the
Oh,
whole
nice.
process.
Wow.
But in general, the first 2 or 3 weeks are tough pain-wise, but with enough medication, you should also be able to sleep for 5 or 6 hours straight. And after
Mhm.
1 month, I think I was able to go off all the pain meds.
Wow.
And after that, after 1 month or so, sleeping was back to normal.
That's back to normal. Yeah. Even the like the Tylenol, like the basic pain meds.
Yeah, I was off it all. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. And you didn't take it like even during like physio or times like you didn't have to take it at all after that?
No.
Very cool. That's awesome, Michael. Very cool, man. All right, guys. That is pretty much all it is. I know there's some actual like surgery questions in here, but we're gonna save that for when we have surgeons on or something like that. So yeah, Michael, I want to thank you for coming back on and sharing your updated progress about your quadrilateral, unilateral lengthening process. I mean, that's super cool to say. We're definitely gonna have you back on to kind of update us again, hopefully with some, video or something to kind of like showcase your recovery even more. Um,
Yeah.
what's next right now? Like, is it just kind of just continue to kind of build back up, recover gradually?
I was a passionate jogger, a passionate
Okay.
long distance runner before I had the surgery. So my long term goal is to get back into running and doing a marathon again.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
that would be a great milestone if I could get back into those kind of competitions. And I do think it's possible if you like are diligent and if you keep up with the exercises. I definitely think that's possible. And for
I
now,
agree.
yeah, basically everything is back to normal already. So I couldn't be happier as of right now.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
very grateful. I had the surgery, everything went well, and I had a great surgeon. And uh, for this reason, I also want to um, tell everybody to really do your research when planning the surgery and going to specific surgeons or different countries. Really talk to multiple patients of that of all the surgeons you are considering, and really get those references in, and do your due diligence when planning the surgery, because cases like those severe complications can be avoided if you go to a professional and yeah, a reliable doctor.
So true. I'm so glad you said that. Thanks so much for saying that, man. Awesome. All right, everybody. That is Michael, and that is episode 77. Support Michael and hear his story, his experience. We'll have him back on for sure. And yeah, until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life signing out. See you guys next time. Peace.